Okay, so I just saw Star Wars The Last Jedi, and this movie is the first movie since Empire Strikes Back where the plot was really unpredictable. And I was fidgeting for the last half of the movie. And so for that reason, I recommend this film.
It was surprisingly good. And not that I didn't think it was going to be good. I just wasn't expecting so many of the things to happen. So, like, going into this movie, you're going to have no idea how it's going to end, and it's great. So go see the movie. Come for, like, the Jedi fights and stay for the porgs. They're so cute! Their little baby eyes and their little mouths, and they make funny sounds. I love them.
I always go into these films with very low expectations. That way my expectations are always exceeded. And I was, like, sated. It was great. It was a Star Wars film. There was plenty of humor for the adults and for the children. There was something for the animal rights activists and the 1% and the 99%. Also, just in case you thought you knew who was going to die in this film, no, you don't know at all. That's all I'm going to say for that one.
It was great humor. There was great characters. They developed the characters each in their own direction. They all had their own story arc. I wish all of them had more screen time. I could see 2 more hours of these guys.
I kept thinking it was going to end, but praying it wouldn't end, because I was like, no. They're going to stop it here. They can't stop it here. I understand that it's the second part of a trilogy, right? So there's going to be a cliffhanger, but I was like, no, you got to keep going. And I was with you with that. Like, the last, like, half hour, maybe even an hour, I don't know. I kept going, like, we've been here for, like, 10 days.
Yeah.
I got to go home and feed my dog. Like, the time kind of flew by and also crawled by in, like, the best possible way, though. Like, I kept wanting something to be a conclusion and then not wanting it to be, because I was like, no, we got to keep going.
I gotta say, at the end of the film, the credits rolled and it said written and directed by Rian Johnson. Now, in the last Star Wars film, it was co-written by Lawrence Kasdan and another guy, I can't remember, and directed by J.J. Abrams. So you have 3 guys. This is now one, for the first time since, first time ever, there's been a single person writing and directing the Star Wars film. And to me, I felt it because it didn't feel like it was setting up sequels. It didn't feel like it was doing fan service like Rogue One did. This felt like Rian Johnson had a story to tell from beginning to end. And when it got to the end of the movie, I thought there'd be a cliffhanger or a setup, but it wasn't. It was more of like a statement. Did you guys feel that too?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're going to make another one. We all know that they're going to make another one. But I feel like if they didn't make the next episode, I would be like, you know what? That's okay. They're gonna, and they better, because I want it.
I felt like everything was rushed and all of the dialogue was really trite and all of the humor was really forced and all the acting was really forced. And there was something that wasn't gelling with me. There were certainly things that I really, really enjoyed. And then there were some things that were like ruined by some of the humor for me. But I definitely had that feeling that I got from Force Awakens where it started to fall apart, or I started to see cracks as more of the film went on. That might change though in more viewings. It always takes more viewings for me to appreciate these films.
Well, here's the thing, is the humor was there in this movie, and it was really funny, but the humor was closer to a Marvel film than a Star Wars film, where the humor was almost inappropriate, where you're thinking there's no way they could be joking around in this type of danger. Like in the old Star Wars movies, there was a lot of humor, but it felt natural between the characters. In this movie, it was bordering on parody. Do you guys agree with that?
Was a little bit much sometimes. Like, there were some points when I was like, okay, I get it. People are making jokes because they're about to die. And, like, that's, like, coping. Like, clearly Poe does this all the time because he's always, like, this close to death constantly. So if he doesn't make a joke about it, he's gonna pass out and have a PTSD meltdown. But, like, some of the other characters, maybe it was, like, a little bit, like, too, like, we can't die, we're main characters kind of feeling. So, like, that's where the jokes came from.
And really only Poe in the first film was the one that cracked the first joke. And now they're all doing it. And it kind of ruins the humor for me. Like, that's how I felt when they were cracking jokes with each other. Almost, it was unnatural to their character. Like, for someone like Rey to crack a joke like that, she seems like kind of tightly wound. Like, she wouldn't crack a joke like that. Or actually, she is so tightly wound that she would ask Kylo Ren to be like, hey, do you have like a towel you can throw on? Like, we're force connecting and you're just like half naked. Like, respect this force connect.
No, here's the thing, is this film did follow unfortunately it did follow the structure of Empire Strikes Back, but fortunately Empire Strikes Back is one of the best films ever made, so why not copy that one, right? But it knew that we were following along, and the director knew our expectations, and he seemed to subvert them every time, which I loved. Did you guys feel that?
Well, that's definitely the difference with this film. I think I said it, or I made this assessment before, and I'm going to say it again. It felt like a film where somebody wrote a draft and then went back over that draft and rewrote things that were, like, too obvious. And then went over it again a couple days later and said, nope, still too obvious. No, which less obvious thing are they going to think that I'm going to pull? And then he didn't do them. And then did the exact extreme opposite. And that's actually what this felt like.
It's interesting talking about the twists and turns, because there was like so many times I didn't even think there was gonna be a twist, and then there was. And not in like a bad, like or even a major way. It was just like little things. Some of them were a little dumb. When Carrie Fisher flew.
Oh yeah,
She opened her cold, dead space eyes and flew back into the ship.
Well, she does. She's a Jedi technically.
Yeah, but
Was that ever established?
yeah, has she ever showcased any of that kind of force power before?
Let's put it this way. I just want to say this.
Why not kill her?
Princess Leia should have died either there, or she should have stayed on the ship and piloted it.
I thought they were gonna do that too. Like,
Right.
Why does this like random purple hair lady get cool redemption? Like, she was a bitch the whole time. Can't we like let the bitchy white woman be a villain for once, please? Like, and that's coming from a bitchy white woman. Like she was stepping all over this non-white man. Can't she be a villain? No. Redemption arc. Redemption's for everybody. Redemption's for all. Like, Scourge and Thor Ragnarok, redemptions. Let's give Kylo Ren, redemption. Snoke, redemption.
Spoiler. The most exciting thing in the movie for me was absolutely when Kylo Ren killed Snoke, and then Ren and Rey teamed up. That was the most exciting part of the movie for me.
They were like
choreography.
back to back the way that
Wolverine and Sabretooth.
and Wolverine should have been from the beginning.
We still all...
That's how you do a back-to-back team up.
And again, that was a climax. You're like, oh, well, that was a great movie.
Yeah.
And then it went on for another half hour, which is awesome, because I love when that happens. When you don't know when the movie's going to end, right?
When it's like, oh, this is a great ending. But then it keeps going to a better ending. Yeah, and in ways that was like, oh, this makes sense for the plot to keep going. Not like we're shoving in an extra half an hour because we want you in the seats longer because we don't want anyone to go see the competition.
Coming out of this movie, my mind is reeling. It's almost like waking up from a dream and trying to remember all the little pieces. The cool thing about this movie is it doesn't really have a cliff. It has a little bit of a cliffhanger, but
is it so much a cliffhanger as just like waiting for the next part?
Well, that's what I mean. It's like there's no direct hint about what's going to come, so it's exciting because it
didn't end the way Force Awakens ended with like a, oh my god, I really need to see the next film. This one just felt safe, but also like not so safe. You know they're in peril, but you know hope is awakening within people all around the galaxy. I still feel unfulfilled about it. Like from the start, it was like introducing one thing after another. Oh, John Boyega's trying to leave because he's looking for Rey. And then discovers Rose, who happens to be like an engineer genius, and says, oh yeah, by the way, we can figure out how to stop this if we can turn off the locator on that ship. It'll solve them. Oh, wait a second. We have to find a code breaker. And it just kept going on and on like that, where they kept getting stalled.
It was like a scavenger
It
hunt.
was like a freaking escape room that you were never going to escape from. And I felt like a lot of the twists were unpredictable, but a lot of the obstacles that were presented to our characters were like exhausting.
It was almost like there was a problem, and then a solution, and then a bigger problem, and then a bigger solution, and then a small problem, and a small solution, and a bigger problem.
I think
over and over and over again.
that's the definition of a story, though, in my opinion.
But like not that many times. There's not like, oh, we're safe. No, we're not. 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 It kind of, the fifth or sixth time they're safe, I'm kind of like, are they though? Like, I don't even, do I care at this point?
Well, I think one flaw with this film is it never slowed down. At least in Empire Strikes Back, there was points where the action stopped, like Han and Leia and Chewie were safe, so they could talk and like relax. But in this film, it was just like a train off the tracks where there was never time to rest, and so it felt like they just kept piling things on. And maybe that's why I felt that way.
That's why we were so fidgety throughout the whole movie. So
Right.
we were like, what's happening? And just freaking out.
Maybe the editing, if they would have switched some of the scenes up.
Yeah, that could be it.
I don't know. I feel like they used the moments between Kylo Ren and Rey to kind of even keel everything,
That
but
did
it
help.
didn't really work because those are the most tense.
Yes.
For me.
good point.
Oh yeah, the tension between two characters not even on the same, like in the same scene together. Shout out to those actors. That was really well done. But I mean, as a way to break up a fast pace, it does not work because it's so incredibly tense. Like
Yeah, because I don't believe for a second that he wanted to partner up. No, he just wants to kill her.
I think he wanted to partner up, but
he wants to make out with her, and she's like, "No, because I'm better than you.
I was waiting for that too. But anyway, I'm just gonna
And
say
I'm worth more than Kylo Ren." Well, like the movie, dedicated to Space Mom because, when Luke turned on R2, I actually cried. I was like, "Oh, damn it!" And it just. I hope they do something spectacular with her in the next one.
when Luke was talking to R2, it was the only time in the film where I felt like a kid again, like 5 years old, and seeing the young Mark Hamill like meeting R2 for the first time. I was like, wow, that really brought me back.
And then just this, it was the Obi-Wan Kenobi, and just just even Princess, you realize Princess Leia saying those words, some children are not gonna get that at all, right? And then their parents will explain it to them, and then they go back and they watch these movies, and they watch Carrie Fisher, who's no longer with us, and all of the amazing things that she did for everybody, especially with mental health and everything like that. And it's just, it sucks, it's sad, but she was spectacular in this movie, and I feel like she couldn't have been anything but.
That's it.
I lost my train of thought.
I almost didn't make it to 2017. Like,
Oh,